Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to this week's Productive Agent podcast. My name is Tony Ruiz. I'm the founder and host of the Productive Agent podcast and Facebook group. Today, I'm joined by a top producer in the San Marcos area, Austin, Texas area. Please welcome Mr. Jason Van Note.
Hey, everybody.
What's going on, man? How you been?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me today, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You're a busy man. You're crushing in December, and then all these listing appointments are going on. I can't wait to pick your brain and learn more about how you've built your business and
You bet.
digging into all your success. So, guys, Jason has been named the top 50 most productive agent in EXP in the whole state of Texas for the month of December. He was again nominated as the best realtor of North Hayes County 3 years in a row. Been crushing the real estate business. How long you been in real estate now, man?
I'm coming up on 9 years in real estate.
Wow, it's been that long? Really?
Yeah, it's flown by. It's been a journey.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I'm about to come up on my 5th year, and
Mhm.
so yeah. Well, Jason and I go back. We were both band directors at Northeast Independent. That's how I met you originally. You also went
Yep.
to San Marcos, but what year did you graduate Texas State?
2010.
Okay. Yeah. And then you taught, and then what year did you so 9 years ago was that?
I taught 6 years of real estate. Not 6 years of 6 years of high school band directing in San Antonio.
Yeah.
I overlapped technically with 1 year of that real estate journey. Granted, it is pretty difficult to launch into real estate in earnest when you're teaching full time.
Right.
But after that 1 year overlap, I kind of decided that was the direction for me and left for full time real estate.
That's awesome, man. Well, give us a little bit of background. I like to always start with some kind of background so the listeners can possibly relate to what that is. But tell us where you're from, where'd you go to school? Obviously we talked about
Yeah.
band. Give us the rundown real quick.
So I've lived in Central Texas pretty much my whole life. Grew up in Round Rock, went to Round Rock High School, go Dragons. College at Texas State, like we mentioned, with a music education degree. Moved to San Antonio, lived there for 6 years. Never really expected to be back in San Marcos, but life works funny sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Spent those 6 years in the band world, teaching high school students, and it really did develop a lot of applicable skills that transferred well to real estate, as you probably know, being a former educator.
Right on, man. What kind of skills do you think you learned as a band director that apply towards this? I mean, we could go around and around, and I know there's a lot of skills. One of the things that they talk
Yeah.
about as a teacher is you wear so many different hats, all right?
Mhm.
So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of aspects that apply that anybody can learn. You don't have to be from an education background, but uh, juggling a lot of things, managing a band program, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of important pieces, like human pieces, to oversee. And that's much the same for a real estate transaction where you're kind of handling a bunch of different facets of it. Likewise, in education, you get really good at communicating with different, styles of communication, learning, just attitudes, and you kind of develop skills to intrinsically attach to the way people want to be communicated with and help interact with them that way. And that's invaluable because relationships are the core of real estate. On top of that, you get used to kind of assessing where someone's at, be it in their band journey or in the real estate journey, and then just all you're really doing in teaching or in real estate, here's where you are, where you want to be, and we're finding the path to get there.
Yeah, man, I love that. That's a great breakdown. But yeah, it's a people business, and I relate it all the way back to one of my early jobs before teaching was waiting tables. Customer
Yeah,
service, being able to communicate to different people, introducing yourself to
definitely.
different people. So it's a skill that a lot of teachers possess because that's what the job is. And that's why a lot of teachers make great realtors. So
Definitely.
so that's awesome. So here's a question. You were teaching band, and how the heck did you get into real estate? Somebody introduced you to it? Or did you already know at some point you wanted to do that, or how did that happen?
So here's what it really comes down to. in the education field in a lot of different aspects of education, but definitely specifically in the band world where I was teaching. You're kind of expected to pour everything you have into your career, your time, like exhausting your days with your students. But I, was married. We were thinking about having a kid, starting a family, and I know there's a lot of people that do make that work. My wife was a teacher as well at the time, but that wasn't really what we wanted for our family. So I was looking at other opportunities, kind of thinking, just no real plan, just open to ideas, a change of pace. And then the fine arts director for our district emailed the whole fine arts team, said, "Hey, everybody, it's been great, but I'm leaving for real estate." So I picked up the phone, called him, said, "Hey, Mark, tell me about this." A few days later, I was taking my courses and knocked those out really quickly because I don't think they had like section timers at that point. So I got through it faster than I was supposed to.
Okay.
And then from there, got my license by the end of the summer. Like I said, spent a year of overlap where, in marching band season at school for 10 plus hours every day, like I wasn't really able to pursue real estate yet. But as marching band season wound down a little bit, had a little bit more time to focus on building up this potential new career, had some good early success that kind of gave me the confidence to say, "Hey, this is what I want for my family, and I'm ready to go." Gave my notice on teaching and jumped in full force into real estate.
I love that, man. I didn't realize that it was kind of Mark's departure that kind of triggered that
Yeah,
for you.
it
Okay.
was.
Um,
I was already in a position of looking for something, not really knowing where to turn. Like, do I go back to school? One of the great things about real estate is it is a potential high income earning career that you can launch into fairly easily,
mhm.
as long as you have the right kind of attitude and work ethic for it.
Yeah, I did want to touch on a couple things that you just mentioned. You took your courses. I'm guessing you took them online. Is that right?
I sure did.
I
Yeah.
heard you have like a record. Didn't you like knock them out like in a week or 2 weeks or something like that?
So I hope I don't get myself into trouble with this, but the whichever website I used, they basically just sent a 140-page PDF for each of the 6 courses you have to complete for your licensing. And we had just started summer break, so I did one course each day, just read the entire PDF, absorbed it, took the test, passed the course. So
Ooh,
6 days I was done with my coursework and ready to sign up for my state licensing test.
that's got to be a record of some kind. That's insane.
Again, I hope I'm not getting myself into trouble.
Hey, you did what you needed to do. You passed the test. You're good to
Yeah.
go. But that's awesome. And so now you got your license, and then you were a 1 year overlap. Obviously you were busy. You couldn't really take off with your responsibilities of teaching. What did that look like? I'm assuming that real estate was like you didn't do anything for a little bit, and then you kind of dabbled in it as you went. Is that right?
Yeah. So I mean, I there was a little bit of delay in like the trek process and getting approval to take my test and all that. So I didn't actually receive my license until August, which is when marching band started in earnest. So I ignored it for a good three or 4 months.
Yeah.
Um, After that point, when I had the mental bandwidth to kind of think about it, I started contacting people I know, letting them know that I'm a licensed realtor, just ramping up kind of contact and sphere work.
Yeah.
And that led to a few fortunate, quick, and relatively easy uh, transactions, one of which was my own. I was looking to buy my own house at that point. And then that kind of early confidence, I think I did 4 deals during the school year that really bolstered my confidence to be able to jump into it and say, yeah, I think I can make this work.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. So you're talking about your early success. You did 4 deals in that year that you overlapped, and then you pretty much went full time right when summer hit.
I did. And so the summer was pretty productive until my daughter was born. She was born in early July, and that changed everything. My wife was still teaching at that point, so she had her maternity leave. But when she went back to school teaching, I kind of was balancing theoretically working and being stay-at-home dad, which really leaned more towards stay-at-home dad for that year. But still managed to learn a lot, have some good transactions, make some good well, decent income. And after that summer, after that school year, my wife decided that she really wanted to be with my daughter. And that's where I had a big flip in mindset, productivity, and kind of where I was heading with my business.
Right on, man. So talk to us about that early year. We're past the overlap, right? School got out. You started diving in full time, but then you had your daughter. So there was kind of a little hiccup there. But what were you focused on? First of all, were you with Mark's group when you started the J
So
Mark
yeah,
group?
when I initially started, I joined Keller Williams' office that Mark was at,
Yeah.
um, and then quickly joined his group within Keller Williams.
Hmm.
Uh, I am very fortunate and definitely am a proponent of having a good mentor in your real estate journey, someone that you can bounce questions off of. Now, at the time, Mark was a relatively new agent as well, but he's from his education background very open to, hey, I don't know the answer, but I'm going to help you find it, which is really what I needed.
Yep.
And so that led me to a lot of learning, a lot of questions. I am still constantly a question person. I love learning more about what I'm doing. The frustrating part of that was seeing my commission check from a transaction where it's like this person, this person, this person, and this person all made more than I did,
Yeah.
and didn't feel great. From Keller Williams, Mark's group split off into an independent corporate brokerage, which offered a better commission split. It was kind of a transitory thing, and we were all kind of really feeling our way as to how that structure was going to work and where it was going to go. As my business picked up in San Marcos, Kyle Buda, Austin suburbs versus San Antonio, where that brokerage was based, it became pretty clear that I needed a different kind of support, different MLS's ability to kind of market more in my area, which is ultimately how I ended up leaving that brokerage and going to a small boutique brokerage based out of Kyle.
Okay. Well, right on. So talk to us about now you're going, you said you transitioned, your wife decides to stay home and take care of your daughter. And then your mindset shifted. You mentioned that. What was the change? What was different? How'd you flip the switch and what made it impact?
Sure. So, I mean, when you're a teacher, you don't have massive paychecks coming in, but you always know it's there. It's pretty steady. So we went from two teacher salaries, steady income, to just 100% commission based, all resting on my shoulders. I have a new baby and I'm providing for my family, and it terrified me. It terrified me, Tony. Um, and that really lit a spark to like, I don't necessarily know the exact path that I'm going to take to get to productivity, but I'm going to work hard and I'm going to figure it out because my family is and remains the most important thing to me. So that has been the impetus for everything I've done in business. Really, is I am providing for my family. Um, I of course everybody wants to be successful. They want to be view themselves as good at what they do. All of those things. There's a kind of intrinsic quality that people are looking for in their personal happiness on that. But all of the drive in my business and why I'm where I'm at has come from this is my providing for my family.
Yeah, for sure. So talk
And
to us.
even if
Go
you're an
ahead.
agent with a different spark, like having that spark and that reason, a passionate reason that matters like within you is really important.
Yeah, I like that. The big why. Um, so talk to us about you have that why, you're driven, you're gonna figure it out, you're gonna work hard, and you're gonna figure it out,
Yeah.
even though you're like, I don't completely know everything, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
So what did that day to day look like, week to week look like for you? Or what were you doing? Were you hitting the phones? Were you cold calling? Were you doing open houses? How did you start your business?
So at that point in my journey, because I mean, I would say I didn't reach a level of high production and a situation where I'm really satisfied with the work I'm doing and my productivity level until the past 3 4 years. So in the first building phase of my career, I didn't have a strict day to day. I didn't have a lot of good processes. I was kind of feeling my way through things, mostly focusing on working my sphere and building relationships. I think a big part of the reason that I've gotten to where I am is everything I'm doing in real estate is focused on relationships and helping people. Uh, as an educator, former educator, like that's kind of intrinsic to my nature. And that is something that has paid dividends and really led me to where I'm at in everything I'm doing. You know, there's a sign in my office that says, uh, what does it say? It says work hard and be nice to people. There we go. And that really is true.
Yeah.
And I really do believe in that, because that kind of sets the stage for foundation in your relationship with all your clients of trust and really willingness to follow you on a journey. Whether or not you kind of try and tell them, hey, these are my values, you can kind of intrinsically tell where somebody is coming from and whether they're in it for like, hey, buy this house, it's going to be great, I'm going to make a good commission, or like, hey, tell me about what you're doing, tell me about what we need and how we can get you to where you're going. There's a genuine sort of caring for people that really drives good success.
Yeah, absolutely. And when people know that that you care about them, like they just feel better about it. All right.
Yeah,
You're not looking for your
for
bottom
sure.
line. But so did you hit social media hard? Did you tell us about the nuts and bolts of, you're focusing on sphere. Are you like talking to 10 people a day? Are you social media like commenting? Well, what was your game plan?
So the reason that I wasn't super productive until the past 3 or 4 years was because I didn't really have a good game plan. And again, through positive attitude and willingness to work hard and all that, you know, ultimately I've landed at a good place and I have good recommendations on what sort of game plan you should have. But in those interim years, you know, I think I somewhat suffered from lack of imagination in my goal setting.
Okay.
A lot of people that have come from the education world that I've talked to since I started, you know, their goal when they begin for the first few years even is like, well, I just want to make as much as I did when I was teaching.
Yeah.
And that's way too low a goal for your real estate journey, really. So through a combination of like goal setting and processes that I developed slowly, I went from not having a defined schedule, not having a clear game plan, making okay money, but you know, still not satisfied with my level of production, my activity, my status as a realtor, whatever the case may be, into someone a lot more productive.
Okay. So, what changed? You said the past 3 or 4 years. Before that, you weren't super productive, or at least where you wanted to be.
Mhm.
Did you meet a coach? Did you hear something on a podcast? What triggered you to go, okay, now I have a more strict schedule and I'm doing these things? What was the difference?
I think the biggest transformation on me for me was really sticking to a schedule, getting some coaching. You know, I have not been a huge coaching person. I've had some dabble here and there, and it's all helpful. But the biggest transformation for me, kind of the light switch change, has been setting up a morning routine to enhance mindset, mood, attitude towards your day and your business. Uh, Not necessarily time blocking every single moment of the day, which I know some people are big proponents of. It just has never really worked for me. But if I have a strict schedule for the morning, getting myself in the right mindset, ready to be open to any real estate avenue for my day, has been really transformative.
Right on. Um, I see you're pretty active on social media. I see these videos that you post up. What is your approach to social media? And how has that maybe evolved over the years?
Yeah. So social media consistency is kind of key. Uh, I try really hard to post every day, but it doesn't always happen. But keeping a consistent flow on your social media is really important. I mainly focus on Facebook and Instagram because those are the ones that just work for me. You know, some people are into TikTok, but that's just, I think it's important to be genuine with your attitude, mindset, where you are. If I tried to get on TikTok, people would laugh at me like the old guy that doesn't understand what he's doing. So it's not really worth pursuing in my mind. But as a social media avenue, posting evidence of success is not the most beneficial, like giving people great information or community events or those kinds of things. It has been overall beneficial for my business because people see, I'll catch up with somebody that I haven't seen in 6 months and they're like, man, it looks like you're killing it. I'm like, thanks. That's awesome. Obviously not promoting doing anything disingenuous, but trying to find a way to maximize evidence of success opportunities from each transaction and just kind of posting different steps in the process. Lately, and something that I think has been really positive for my brand personally, has been getting on video. I was really hesitant for that at first because I just don't like, I'm not a camera person. But I've just kind of committed every listing I get, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to be on the video. I'm going to be talking. And not only do my clients really like that and appreciate that, it really sets an attitude and vibe of what I'm doing on social media. Posting it to my neighborhood has been, not explicitly, but I think one of the biggest driving factors of a lot of listing appointments in my area. People see this and go like, man, look at what that realtor is doing. I want somebody who does that.
I love that. You mentioned that before. And are you talking about, let's say you had a listing video that you created on your most recent listing. You'll take that video and post it into your neighborhood Facebook group. Is that what you're
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, definitely. I generally take social media orientation videos at all of my listings. Sometimes a wide angle for like a header on a website, depending on the type of property and how I'm going to promote it. But using that social media focused video, sending it to any Facebook group that can apply to the property. Now, my neighborhood, I'm fortunate and it's been productive for my business. My neighborhood is a master plan community with active builders. It's had like 10 different builders throughout the time it's been built, with a wide range of properties from like 1,000 square foot to 3,500 square foot, everything in between. So there's a really diverse market and client base in my neighborhood. So I'm a member of a neighborhood Facebook page. I provide like monthly information because it's a great free way to farm versus sending out mailers. And anytime I get a listing in the neighborhood, send out just sold postcards, put up the video on the neighborhood Facebook page, like all those reminder opportunities for getting your face in front of people. I've been doing the monthly informational for my Facebook in my neighborhood over 2 years. And it has really paid dividends and really led to a lot of activity where I work, where people already know and trust me. When you walk in the door and be like, oh yeah, I live right over there. Yeah. It just builds a natural level of trust. And it's an easy place to start. If you're not sure where to farm and you have a neighborhood, start there.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, I'm taking this to heart because it's something that I haven't really done. I mean, I'm part of my Facebook group. My neighbor just told me that he's thinking about selling in a couple months here. So obviously I know him because he's right across the street from me. But surely there's probably other realtors that live in your neighborhood. And
Oh
you're
yeah,
just like,
there are.
whatever, I'm just gonna post my stuff and see what happens, is pretty much
Yeah,
what.
I mean, sticking to a good schedule, like I post the first of every month is my strategy. So I don't forget. So I've got that consistency. There are other realtors in the neighborhood, but
Would you
I'm biased. I think I'm doing pretty good in my neighborhood.
What would you say that when you first started, it immediately like people you got people's attention, or did it take time for you to
No, it definitely
continue?
took time, and I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of ways that I built that trust and brand equity and awareness in my neighborhood. The Facebook thing is part of it. Being out and about in my neighborhood, walk my dog, wave at people, and be nice. Put up branded open house signs has been good. You know, directionals will always work if you get the big red sign from wherever, but I've got a sign with my face on it, not because I love my face. I just want to remind my neighbors that, hey, this guy's doing it every weekend. If you want to sell your house, he'll do that for you too.
Yeah.
Hosting events, like I've gone and put on Easter egg hunts for my neighborhood, paid for the candy and all that because it's fun. It's a nice thing for your neighbors. And I don't make it overly salesy. They're like, hey, I'm Jason Van Note, local realtor sponsoring this event. Hope y'all have a great time. Not trying to collect everybody's information, not trying to like push that I'm making a business play here, because I'm not. Work hard and be nice to people. I'm trying to invest in my community and be a genuine, positive force for people. And when you do that, it comes back in spades. It really does.
So when you're, let's say you have your Easter egg hunt coming up, you're going to your Facebook group saying, hey, on this date, we're going to be gathering at the park at this time or whatever and doing this.
Yep.
And it's really no plug of like, I mean, obviously they know Jason Van Note. And when they click your profile, they're probably going to go, oh, this guy sells houses, and
Yeah, for sure.
you like didn't even mention it. It's just
Yeah.
organic of like doing that.
You know, coming from a teaching career, I never thought I would be in sales. It's never something I dreamed of for my
Yeah.
life. I still don't view myself as being in sales.
Yeah.
I guess I'm pretty good at it. I've been pretty successful, but it's not coming from a sales avenue. It's coming from I'm a smart guy. I dig into the data. I understand what I do really well. And I know that there are people that need the information I know to achieve something in their lives. And I'm just trying to give it.
This is really good, and I just want to dig a little bit deeper on it. When you're posting once a month, what is that information? Is it like a market report type of thing?
Yeah, I'm just mostly giving thoughts on what I think about is going on in the neighborhood, what I see, what trends, what's interesting. Sometimes talking about listings, sometimes talking about like, hey, things have really slowed down, things have picked up. This builder is in closeout. Here's what interest rates are doing. There's always something to talk about, and it's not anything that I have a strategic like mapped out plan. Like this month we're going to talk about this, and then this month it's just giving genuine thoughts about what's going on and information that if somebody says, I'm walking down the street like, hey, what's going on in the market today? That's the kind of information I'm posting, because you don't see everybody. You don't have the opportunity to have that conversation with everybody, but you just kind of give your thoughts, because anybody that owns a home is at least a little bit curious on what's going on.
So once a month is good. Would you say that it's possible to post too much in those groups? Do you try to go like, hey, I'm not going to put everything on that?
Yeah. I mean, if you were doing like every week, if you were kind of, it's again, trying to add value to people's lives and be genuine and helpful
Yeah.
versus, hey, buy a house for me, buy a house for me. I do tend to post like, if I make a nice video, I'm proud of it. And I was like, hey, neighbors, check out this awesome house for sale. Let me know if you know anybody who might be interested in it.
And those houses might not even be in the neighborhood. It just might be a listing of yours more recently.
No, I only ever advertise listings on my neighborhood Facebook page that are in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Now, I will take videos for certain areas and go like, if I've got a listing in New Braunfels, I'll try and put it on New Braunfels real estate Facebook page, whatever. I try and find avenues to kind of just get extra eyes on it, because that's beneficial to my sellers.
Yeah.
But as far as farming my specific neighborhood, I don't want to spam them with everything. Like I get listings out in random places, and nobody wants to, really dig into that. The likelihood that anybody's interested in that is very small. So I try and keep it really relevant for what my target audience is.
Yeah. No, I like that. So obviously, and over the 9 years that you've done this, your sphere has grown and grown, and
Mm-hmm.
past clients and now part of your sphere, your neighborhood, you're well involved in that, and it's very relational. Is there anything like, have you done anything in the past or still do of advertising to the people that don't know you? Or is it mostly referral type stuff?
So by far the best part of my business is referral, not trying to get out of the term past clients and just focus on clients. Repeat clients have really picked up, because obviously there's a time gap. If you're a brand new agent, you get some clients, they're not going to resell their house in 6 months.
Yep.
But when you get 3 years, 5 years, et cetera, that really starts to pick up and snowball. And then really trying to leverage listings for advertising opportunity has been really beneficial for me. Just sold postcards, social media posts, evidence of success, that kind of thing. Now, that being said, I have had some success with like internet cold call leads, but it's really something that yeah, I've got a lead source right now where I'm getting internet leads, and I think it's something I'm going to get away from. I'm going to let my contract on that expire. Uh, there is value in it, and I know some agents that have really had a lot of success with it. There's one year that I did 5 million in real estate from internet leads, which
Wow.
was awesome.
Which,
Uh,
if you don't mind me asking, which lead source was it?
that was through Sync, which was provided by my previous brokerage.
Okay. So it was
So
provided. You didn't have to pay for that. It was just
now it was a 50-50 on every lead that came from it because it was paid for by the brokerage. So I gave up a lot of money on that. And that
sure.
was a little frustrating, but it built a lot of experience and a lot of good client contact.
Yep.
Um, so from that, there were several years after that where Sync wasn't working out for me for whatever reason.
Mhm.
I just struggle with the commitment of getting into the follow up on internet leads. It's just not kind of genuine to who I am and where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Uh, I've always recommend practicing scripts, and I've got a pretty good script for internet cold calls that I've practiced. I know pretty well, but it's just not authentic to where I'm coming from in my
Yeah.
real estate journey. And so leaning into what your strength is and where your genuine passion is always going to pay dividends for you. And mine is relationships and helping people. So I'm trying to dig into that and leverage that as much as I can.
Yeah. So you mentioned evidence of success. You're big into the social media. It sounds like you do mailers as well. How often do you do any mail outs?
So I don't have like a geographical farm that I have consistent mail outs to. Generally, I'm doing just sold postcards. I haven't really found a lot of use for just listed postcards, and I'm sure people will argue with me on that. At one point during COVID, there was no point because by the time it reached the people, the house was already under contract.
Yeah.
And now at this point, the market can be unpredictable. So part of me is a little self conscious. I don't want to tell everybody, hey, it took me this long to sell this house. So I don't necessarily want to announce when that first starts, right? Because
Yeah.
listings can be hit or miss in the market we've got right now.
Who do you use for just sold postcards?
Quantum Digital.
Quantum Digital. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I've been pretty happy with it. Now, I'm a member of the EXP luxury program.
Mm-hmm.
So when I've had some luxury properties sold, there's a really good template from the EXP luxury division for just sold postcards. And you can take that and upload it directly to Quantum Digital, who will handle all the address collecting, mailing, etc.
Now, when you do the just sold, I'm guessing you set a radius of around that house, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Generally, try and go for the entire neighborhood unless it was a cheap house in a really big area. May not make financial sense,
Sure.
but always targeting right around the location it sold.
Okay. And then besides that, you said you don't necessarily like do mail outs to like your sphere or anything like that. Do you do a letter of the heart or evidence of success or anything like that?
Early in my career, I definitely did I did quarterly letter of the hearts. I hand signed everything. I hand wrote the addresses because
Yeah.
I wanted people to think it wasn't spam. You know, uh, Anything I could think of to really kind of grab people's attention. I don't routinely do a letter of the heart, and it's one of those things where I sit back and look at my business and wonder if I've given up some of the things that have made me successful. I've been thinking through that recently and might be getting back to that.
Mhm.
But prospecting clients and relationships, being intentional with phone call and contact with those people that I know and have a relationship to has been the best part of really kind of building business.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Are you on the phone talking to people daily? What does that look like? I mean, I know you're busy, right? Because like
I
you get,
really want to say it's daily, Tony. I really do, and I know it should be.
but
It's not, but it's consistent.
yeah. So talk to me. So would you say let's just say after this, you're gonna get on the phone, right? And you're gonna take the next hour to make phone
Mhm.
calls. Who are you calling?
So I had finally started getting more organized with my plan for this, rather than just it used to be kind of like looking through my phone, looking at my past transactions, going, "Oh yeah, I haven't talked to so and so in a while," and I'm trying to set scheduled timeframes in my CRM with my sphere, which is the right way to do things. I definitely recommend everybody kind of have a better plan than that. But at the very least, if you are trying to think about people in your life and, oh, I haven't talked to them in a while, let me talk to them, that's worth it. So if I've got an hour to go, do my prospecting, I'm sitting down and looking at clients that I haven't talked to in at least 3 months. What can I add to them? Add to our relationship that's beneficial to them. Can I call them and talk about, hey, what's going on in your neighborhood? If they're a homeowner, um, pulling them up on social media and figuring out what's going on in their life and just being present and talking to them and interacting with them. Never from a sales pitchy perspective. And that is where good scripts can come in really handy. I was not a fan of scripts for a long time because I've been pitched with bad scripts before and it sucks. But when you really find a good script and you internalize it and it's well constructed to flow through and care about somebody, because that's a core of everything that I'm trying to do, and add value in a real estate conversation, that works pretty well. It gets people, just my goal is when somebody that I know thinks realtor, I want to pop in their head. I don't want to be obnoxious, and I'm not going to beat anybody over the head with it, but I just want to be there adding value, kind of having conversations with them, touching their lives routinely, but not obnoxiously, so that I'm front of mind when they need that conversation and not pushing to have those conversations when they're not ready.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that a lot, man. Um, well, is there anything else that we have not talked about in your business that has made a impact and a difference in your business? What comes to
Yeah.
mind?
So, I mean, I'd love to talk a little bit about my morning routine. I got this I did a coaching session with Coach Bill Pipes, and I really liked it. And it's his 6x10 program. So every morning, the way my schedule works, I have to wake up at 4:30 to do this correctly, and man, that's hard. But I'm pretty good about it. And so every morning, there's 6 things that you do. You read 10 pages, and I've got a whole list of books. Right now, I'm reading How to Win Friends and Influence People, the Dale Carnegie book,
Mm-hmm.
which has been around for ages. But you read 10 pages, you do 10 minutes of learning. I often listen to podcasts. I will watch, Keeping Current Matters content, or Altos Research is good for just like really having information at hand to jump into conversations, and setting your day like you wake up and you're initiated in a real estate mindset has been the biggest game changer for me. You do at least 10 minutes of exercise. I've been trying to do more than that because I need it, but moving your body every day and being active is super important. You do 10 minutes of meditation, and then you do 10 affirmations and 10 gratitudes. That was probably the weirdest part for me. Anybody that likes like old Saturday Night Live, the whole I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. I just felt really strange about it. And it's made a huge difference. Um, Finding as you work your way through it, you find affirmations that really resonate with you, and it just sit there and do it, even if it feels a little cheesy. And it's completely shifted like my mindset and my attitude to the day, and realizing how many great things you have going in your life, even if this deal blew up or whatever the case may be. Like, look at all this great stuff I have, and that sets such a good mood, a positive energy, that people genuinely notice and feel. Plus, just being up and ready and thinking and engaged in your business and what you're doing and how to go out and conquer the day. Even if I don't time block every single thing, like I wake up, I do that, I get myself ready, shower, shave, get dressed in nice clothes. So last minute meeting, I don't have anything scheduled on the day, I'm wearing my nice clothes. So something comes up, I'm out the door and ready to do it. I didn't used to do that, and it hampered me. Um, so then I, get my daughter off to school, and I jump right into an accountability meeting. I've got an accountability partner. We meet every day at 8 a.m. and
Wow.
just script practice, hold each other accountable on doing our routine, all that kind of thing. That's been a good productive thing for me. And from there, you launch into hopefully prospecting. Sometimes when I get overstacked and busy, like it's putting out fires, dealing with paperwork, putting up listing, whatever the case may be. But at the very least, every day I'm focusing on real estate engagement, positive mindset, and being ready for the day. If you start every day ready to conquer whatever might be presented to you, it really makes a big difference. You have that positive mindset and that attitude towards real estate, and things just start happening. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I'm writing these down and we'll go back and listen to that, make sure I didn't miss anything. But it reminds me a lot of Miracle Morning. I don't know if you've read
Yeah.
that book yet.
Yep.
And
That
it's like,
was 2 books ago.
yeah, it's a great book. That's kind of what triggered me to really get focused in 2020. About
Mhm.
a year in, I was kind of like doing the thing, but I was feeling like
Right.
I wasn't really enjoying it and really wasn't focused on what I was needing to do. And it makes a huge impact, and
Absolutely.
that's one of the things that I encourage people to do is I go do my workout. That's the first thing I do. And I come back while I'm showering and getting ready. I'm listening to positive stuff. It's a
Mhm.
podcast, it's a music, it's putting
Absolutely.
me in a good mood, and then it just kind of snowballs from there. And then you're looking for opportunities. All right. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, there's another opportunity right there. But if you're not looking for that, or if you're in a negative mindset, you're gonna miss them. So
Yeah. On those days when you don't have anything on your calendar in the morning, well, A, you should be prospecting. That's
yeah.
what every agent should do. And I get how hard it is to be consistent with that. But even if you're like, I can just chill and be lazy today, no, you're going to miss an opportunity when you do that.
When you
Um,
when you say prospecting, sorry to interrupt. When you say prospecting, okay, you did your accountability thing at 8 a.m. 9 a.m. you're prospecting, ready to go. Are you talking about you're looking at a list of names from your sphere and database and you're talking to them, or is it like cold prospecting?
it's some of both because I do still have internet leads coming in. But most of my focus has shifted towards sphere prospecting, managing those relationships, keeping in touch with people, and just being, again, a positive touch in their life, in their day,
Mm.
uh, to add value to them.
And that's typically either phone call or text message, would you say?
I try and do phone calls because that is way more influential. If you read 7L, the seven
Yeah.
levels of communication, influential zone begins with phone calls. So if you can have a conversation, much better. Now, a text message is worth something, but it's not nearly as powerful as real, honest human communication.
Yeah.
And when we get busy, especially, it's so easy to just shoot off a text because I got to go do other stuff, and that doesn't really count.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's worth something, but it's not the same.
I love it, man. Who's your accountability partner, if you don't mind me asking?
He's one of my friends. We were in each other's wedding. His name's Daniel Sharp. He is an EXP agent, lives in
Yeah.
Austin.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I've met him, but I see him on social media. Yeah. Yeah. Right on, man.
Yep.
That's awesome, dude. This has been great. I've really enjoyed it. I know there's a lot of nuggets in here that the listeners will be able to pull
I
from.
hope so.
That's great information that you shared. I really appreciate you being an open book and sharing all this. Is there anything else before I want to respect your time? Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you're like, you already gave a lot away? But yeah.
No, I mean, it really comes down to focusing on relationships and helping people. Coming from a genuine place of caring and help, using the knowledge that you have to help people through the most important transactions in their lives, or at least biggest dollar transactions in their lives.
Yeah, man.
That is the source of all of my success, really.
I love it, dude. You crushed it. Yeah, I know you were nervous about it, and I was like, nah, it's gonna be great. But guys, if you're in that area, San Marcos, Central Texas area, and you need some help with real estate, contact Jason. He's one of the best out there. You're on
Thank you, man.
Facebook, you're on Instagram. Talk to us a
Hmm.
little bit about that, how they could get a hold of you.
Yeah, so Facebook is Jason Van Note Realtor. My last name VAN JasonVanNote. And Instagram is JasonVanNote_realtor. Give me a follow. And if you've got any questions for me as an agent, you can reach me directly, 512-964-8505. I am always happy to help people. I firmly believe that there are plenty of homes out there to sell for people that are motivated to do it. So I'm not particularly cagey with my information. So I'm always happy to help.
And that's why you do so well, is when you give, you receive, and it's just an ongoing thing. So I really
Definitely believe
appreciate
that.
you. Yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on and sharing everything that you did. I feel like we're going to need like a second episode because I want to get into like, how do you take from starting the process of looking for homes to the end? How do you make it special?
Yeah,
I think that would be a great
sure.
one. So
Awesome.
well, right on, man. I really appreciate it. Guys, that's the show. You know what to do. Share the show with a friend. That really helps us grow. Leave us a review. Give us a rating as well. Join our private Facebook group called The Productive Agent, and make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And we thank you for joining us today. Now let's get out there and go.